This guy walks by shredded, bro. And I was like, F that guy. I'm like, I bet that guy drives a Ford Taurus. I got a freaking Ferrari. Dude, bro, I bet that guy doesn't make very much money. I bet he's in an apartment. You know what I realized? That guy, because of the standard he held on himself and the discipline he had, he made me question me. Whoever believes the most that is the greatest, that person is the greatest salesman in the history of the world. Not the one that can do the best presentation. It's the one who believes the most. So a lot of people try to get people to believe in this. And I'm like, no, dude, I believe that that's the best. I don't even need to show you this. I know it's the best. And we're in an era where people say, don't get close to your people. Don't get close to your employees. Don't get close to your team. Don't let them know too much. Dude, I'm totally transparent with every single person in my company. I will pay for their house. I will buy their cars. I will do anything. I don't care. And by the way, yes, I get burned. It's part of the deal. You know what? I've got 50 loyal people and I've had 10 that burn me. And I wouldn't have the 50 loyal. I wouldn't have the army I had I not trusted that all 60 of them were going to be it. And 10 of them didn't work out fine. And when someone betrays me, all it does is make me be more grateful for the ones who didn't betray me.
So do you believe that everybody has to go to those same extremes to be able to make those changes?
I believe greatness is found in the extremes. And so if you don't become obsessed, no one will ever know your name.
Welcome to another episode of Next Level Pros podcast. Today we have Mr. Andy Elliott. We're down here in beautiful Arizona in his studio doing some incredible stuff. So many of you guys know Andy. You've seen him on Instagram, YouTube, all the different things, maybe on stages. This guy runs an incredible sales training platform. They've had over 500,000 people go through their program. He is changing lives. The man is a believer, a family man, all the important stuff, really building an incredible, I'd call it cult following in a good way. Down here. It's absolutely incredible. Welcome to the show. Excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. It's good to be around winners. And I say this all the time. When I was younger, we didn't have access to, information to learn from winners. If you wanted to learn something, you had to go buy. They would say, take a rich man out to dinner and, try to give him a 5-course meal and pay for it. And you can sit down and just listen to everything he says. And now you can sit down and one podcast, it can totally change your life.
Right.
And so I'm positive today there will be at least one thing said that will totally transform everything in your life if you're just aware.
I love it. Andy, what I'm most interested to know is 3-4 years ago, nobody had heard of you. Right? Like you were not on the map. My understanding is you lived in Oklahoma, which it's funny. I spent 2 years of my life in Oklahoma. Yeah. So when I was 19 to 21 years old, I was a missionary there for my church. And so know the lay of the land kind of all over the board. And so I know you decided to make a big shift. Tell us about, obviously you've done a lot of groundwork up until that point. What caused the transformation?
Well, so number one, I was talking about how development, right? The greatest gift that anyone could ever give themselves is the gift to start working on themselves. And that wasn't really ever talked about. Training is how do we do the road to the cell? We're going to train on the steps. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But we were always working on the business. We were never working on ourselves.
Yep.
Okay. And so mentally, I'm telling you, I fought demons my whole life, but I thought that money one day would fix all of those problems. There's a day that you got to make enough money that success fixes everything. And the reason why I thought that way is because the leaders that were leading me, that's what they taught me. Okay. So from 0 to 18, I was dead broke, never had more than $5 in my hand. At 18, I got in the automotive space. I went from making 18, 125 grand, 19. You guys were in door-to-door sales, so you guys did sales. So, 19, I made 220 grand. At 20 years old, I made my first 500 grand selling cars. That's not normal income for most car salesmen, but I was really good and obsessed. I say greatness is found in the extremes. I didn't want to do anything but sell cars. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go party. I didn't want to go run around with people. I wanted to learn how to talk. I stuttered, so I wanted to learn how to be a good speaker. I wanted to learn how to master strangers. I wanted to learn how to walk up to anyone and just make a best friend. Yeah. I wanted to make people feel really comfortable. I was learning to talk with familiarity with people. So let's say that I didn't know you. I could talk to you for just 30 seconds and you would felt like you know me your whole life. That's a superpower. By the way, anyone could if we just stop now and you just learn that,
right,
it's over. Sales and leadership will get you rich. So the transformation though was I worked my whole life and I thought money was going to make me really happy. And so the change, where did Andy come from? November 2019. Dude, that was just the other day.
5 years
right?
ago.
So if anybody's watching this, you're like, well, man, I'm too old. Dude, I'm 39, okay? A couple good years of really spending time working on yourself can totally change your whole life. Yeah. So, like, I don't care who you are. Like, everybody's qualified for a really good life, okay?
Amen.
But you don't know it because you have to make new decisions. You have to decide to become a new person. And by the way, you have to recreate every day, which means you have to work on you. From 18 to 39, I worked on my job harder than I believe. Everybody always says I'm the hardest worker in the room. Like, you say it, I say it. Hard workers know that, like, no one's going to outwork me. That was my deal. And by the way, I was trained at 18, sacrifice for what you want, or what you want becomes a sacrifice, okay? All the people that were my leaders, I looked back. They were all divorced. Their kids didn't know them. They were all fat and out of shape. They were all smokers. They all went out and drank. And by the way, you're not really aware of these things because I'm looking at their pay stubs. I'm looking at how much money they're making. And by the way, I'm thinking, dude, if I could just make as much as they are, like, all my problems so it will go away. So at 39, my wife's got a purse full of cash. I mean, like, we're good, right? Like, we can.
What's the definition of purse full of cash at
this
time?
It means that, like, okay.
Like, what kind of money were you sitting on when you made this decision?
So I have in Oklahoma, you know, the average home is a nice home you could buy for 125, 150 grand.
Especially
we have $1 million house in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Nice, beautiful house. It's paid off. We could buy what we wanted. I probably had $500,000 in the bank for Oklahoma. That's a pretty good job on being in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We had our cars paid off. I mean, we could get what we wanted. Yet, okay, I'm out of shape. Okay, I've lost my edge. Am I working my ass off? Yeah. When I'm home, I'm not home. What does that mean? I'm not present. Yeah. I'm thinking about work tomorrow. Sunday is I got to recover for Monday. So even if I was in a picture, I don't remember it. I just gave everyone leftovers. I was very selfish. I never helped anyone change their life. Be crystal clear. There's a difference between helping people make a lot of money and helping someone change their life. I helped a lot of people make a lot of money. I never helped anyone change their life. I never had, until I was 30, I never had someone come up to me and say, you changed my life.
Right.
They say, I'm making more money than ever, and that's changed my life, but only from an economical standpoint. I wasn't an example to anybody. An example to be the hardest worker in the room, how to be great at sales, how to influence, persuade, paint pictures, tell stories, sell ideas, sell situations. I was good at that stuff. Right. In my little dealership, that territory, right, that dealership, I was an animal. Outside of that, I was an introvert. I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yep.
I was too tired. I was burnt out. I was exhausted. And I thought this money that, from being broke was going to make me happy. So I'm doing better than everyone else thought I was going to do.
And at this point, you're married. You have 3 kids?
Yeah, married, 3 kids. And my wife, like, she pulls this trick. By the way, just so everybody will understand, this is where a lot of people hate my wife.
Yeah.
But they don't like to look in the mirror and own their shit.
Yep.
Okay. I always say all change starts with truth and honesty.
Yep.
Okay.
Amen.
So my wife is one of these people that's like, look, do you want me to feed your ice cream like a 2, 3, 4, and 5-year-old, make you feel good? Is that what you want? You want to feel good? You want me to give you the little walk on eggshells, sugar-coated conversation where I can't tell you the truth because I'm going to upset you and offend you because you can't handle it? Or do you want the cold, hard truth, and do you want me to treat you like the badass?
Has she always been this way?
Yeah, she's a hot-blooded Mexican, man. But by the way, I will tell you something. Leading up to this, I almost went to jail. I almost got in trouble. I almost had all kinds of problems happen. Do you know why? Because my wife used to be direct with me, and one day I told her, I'm like, babe, stop nagging me. Which it happens because, again, where do they train you how to be a great husband? Where do they train you how to learn to take criticism? No one trained you. And by the way, all the people that I was working around, if I was to tell them, hey, my wife keeps swearing me out to do this and that, you know what they'd say? Dude, you don't have to put up with that shit, man. Yeah. You have to running with the wrong freaking people. And so I get this ungrounded feeling where, like, I'm the shit, right? And by the way, I'm going to tell you this, like, everybody, no matter where you are, I was in Oklahoma. I was doing better than most of the people that were around me. And this is where
you felt good about yourself.
Yeah, like I was like, I'm independent, I'm badass. I've lost everything. God gave me all this. I'm taking credit for it, right? Yeah. And really, I ain't even done nothing. That's how stupid I am because, I'm just ignorant. But Jackie, one day, I go through trouble and I realize my wife has always wanted to protect me. She's always been there for me. Everything that she said, like, hey, don't hire that guy. Hey, Andy, don't work for that guy. I was making decisions based off money. And Jackie was saying you make decisions based off your standards and what you stand for.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, babe, but, like, if we could just, 2 years, we could be in this new place, in this new spot. And, and she's like, Andy, but that's not right. And I'm like, it's a gray area, babe. Why? Because sometimes it's hard to take information from the person that's closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like you guys know each other 20 years. You may be telling him something every damn day. And then one time I have a conversation one time and he's like, oh, dude, that makes sense. I'm going to change. And you're like, bro, I've been telling you it for 20 damn years. And that's what my wife did on this day. So this day she decides, all right, this night before she heats up my food 3 times. I'm on my way, babe. I'll see you in 30 minutes. She heats up the food, has it ready. I don't show up. Hour later, are you coming or not? Yes, I'm on my way right now. I'm getting in the car. Heats up my food. I don't show up. There's always that one more deal. Always that one more deal. You know what I mean? By the way, so you got to be careful who you're trying to please here. I took better care of my customers than I did my family. Now listen, a lot of people can't say that. You know why? Because they don't own their shit. The truth of it is, honestly, if my wife told me something bothered her, I probably would ignore it and maybe try to fix it. But if someone at work was having a real problem, I would step in like the hero. Totally screwed up, man. Like again, leaderless. We're in a leaderless nation. I was leaderless. And I needed an awakening, right? And so, long story short, Jackie come home one night, that heating up. She's like, fine. All right, tonight I'm gonna lay it out. We're gonna decide some ultimatums. And she didn't say like, I'm gonna leave, but I felt like she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. She had enough and she was drawing a very hard line for me. And she said, well, number one, she triggered me 2 ways very quickly. One, she said, number one, me and the kids have learned to live without you, period. So just so you're aware, okay, I could have got money on my own. My wife's very independent. She's like, I didn't need you to make money. So if you think you going and making money and being gone all the time, coming home fucking exhausted, not taking care of the kids, and being like, are you kidding me? No ways. I didn't marry you for that, okay? You lied to me. That is not the man I married. Mm-hmm. And so like, in my head, I'm thinking, my mom left when I was 2, 5 brothers and sisters, Jerry Springer shit show, grew up poor. I've done all this. Look who I've become. And she's like, dude, don't sell me that victim shit. Okay? I see who you can become. You're not becoming it, and I'm not okay with it. This is where you realize number one, you're either a winner or a loser. A winner realizes, oh my God, I got someone in my life that believes in me and they want to see me go to a new level. This is my chance.
Right.
That's the road I decided to take. Okay, I thought long and hard about it for a minute. Or I could have been like, screw her. Who is she to talk to me like that? I'm doing better than everyone else I know. I've beaten all odds. I broke the bloodline. Are you kidding me? I've broke generational curse. I could have done all that. You know what? Now, by the way, so this is where the second part triggering she comes from. As I'm like getting mad and ego, clearly your wife knows how to piss you off. Are you married? Yep. Your wife knows how to piss you off, bro. Yep. She can build you up to be a badass man, or she can cut your legs off in 2 seconds. She knows you better than anyone else in the world. And so my wife reaches over and grabs my love handle, bro. No, I'm not even joking. And she kind of like grabs it and then kind of like pulls on it. And she's like, you're getting comfortable. And I didn't like that. And it felt like spiders were crawling up my back when she grabbed my love handle, because I could feel how out of shape I was, and I felt disgust. And I almost wanted to take it out on her. And by the way, this is anybody that really wants to change their life right now. People say, you got called out, bro. No, I got called up. She gave me a chance to level up as a man at that point and become who I promised her I was going to become the day that I met her.
Right.
And I lied to her forever. And so you either own it, you become great. I 50X'd my income when I changed my life. I was able to do what I never thought I could ever do. Bigger than any dream I've ever done, when I decided to start raising my damn standards, get my shit together and become a different person, alter my identity, change my intentions. My intentions from like, I want to go make money to like, now I want to help people and become a good person and be an example, right? I never thought about any of that. My mind never thought that way. But I go in the garage, work out for 4 hours. Dude, I freaking shave my head. I had hair at this time. I shaved my head. I just need to see a different person. I walked back in. I remember my wife sitting there. And she's like, look, you feel better? I was like, yes. And she said, that's because that's who you are. You're made to take care of yourself. You haven't been taking care of yourself. And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of me. You can't take care of the kids. If you don't love you, Andy, you can't love us. That's the way it goes. You work so hard for these people that aren't going to be here for you. If something happens and you get sick, none of those people that you're working hard for are going to be here. I will always be here. The kids will always be here. Who are you trying to please? She's like, there is a chance right now you can change everything. Just make some decisions. And so I realized at that point, my wife was my greatest coach. Yep. And I just wasn't listening for 15 years. Now, I immediately, this is where the pivot happened. I go online. I never went on the internet. And I literally typed in motivation, and because I needed to be motivated, right? Like that's like spiritual, like milk. Like I needed something to tell me what to do next. And I never went on the internet. I was never on social media. I didn't even own a social media account. So I go on YouTube, I type in motivation, and Tony Robbins pulls up. I'm like, I'll watch this guy for like 2 minutes and see how I feel. Long story short, 2 hours later, I'm sitting there and I'm like feeling different. I'm thinking different. I'm ready to take over the world. I believe I can do these different things. And dude, he says what I'm feeling. He goes, if you're feeling different, if you're thinking different now, if you believe now, right, and that you can do things that you didn't think you could do before you started watching this, maybe it's because you can. And the only person that's been hurting you is you, and you're in the way of you. And I was like, is this guy freaking talking to me? And he was talking to me, because that's what we do. We talk to people on the other side of the camera like people are right now. And then there was this little button. He goes, if you want to change your life, this is the KBB, the Broker Blueprint course with Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins, and Russell Brunson on how to teach your specialized skill. I don't care what you do for a living. I know you're good at something. What are you good at? And I'm like, I'm good at sales. And I'm like talking to the TV, and I'm like, I'm good at sales. And he's like, you can take that specialized skill, and people that are good at whatever you just said you're good at will pay you to learn how to be good at that. You can broker your skill for money. And you can leave your job you're in now, the one that you don't want, and do what you love and help other people. When's the last time you helped someone? I'm like, dude, is this guy talking to me? And I'm like, I swear on my life, I'm just like, is this guy talking to me? And then I almost didn't do it. I did what everybody will do. I started talking myself out of it. I'm not this guy. That guy's famous. He's been doing it for 30 years. Right. I've never been on social media. Where would I start? I've never done anything like this. I'm a car salesman. I don't know how to do the... Watch. Craziest thing I tell people all the time is I almost didn't do it. Dude, I almost didn't do it. I came this close to just turning it off instead of click and buying that training program. I bought that training program. It was $3,000. Changed my life. Now I've spent millions of dollars on self-development. It was the greatest thing I ever did. I just learned this one simple thing, taking a little bit of time each day to work on me. Yep. Not my business, not even my wife, not even my kids, just on me. My mind is not my friend. It's never been my friend. It's never told me good things. I have to tell my mind how things are going to go. I have to be really good to me. And for 39 years, I was really, really bad to me. And I talked bad to me, and my mind was a trash can, which is why I ruined everything that got in front of me. And my intentions were all about making money, because I thought when I was young, because we were poor, if we just made money, we would be successful. And then my wife explained the definition of success is getting it all. We need to be close to God. You need to be a great father. You need to be your children's hero. You need to be, I want to have a husband I admire and I look up to. That's what I want. I want not you to motivate the sales team. I love that. I want you to go to work and come home and be a winner. And I want to look in your eyes and know that you gave it all you got. That's what I want. I married a winner. But also I want you to come home and motivate the damn family. How about that?
Yeah.
Amen.
And I'm just like, anyway, so that was when it all changed. And, I'm sure you guys can relate with.
No, I freaking love it. I mean, you bring up a principle that I've always been a fan of, is that the mind is an external thing working on who we really are. I've always believed that who we really are rests in the heart, right? And that's the reason why you can have these crazy thoughts, positive or negative, on all different things. And it's not until you actually dwell on them that they actually sink down to and either become who you are for better or for worse, right? But yeah, it's an interesting concept, and when you kind of separate the mind from everything else, it allows you to have just so much more self-mastery.
So I've done a lot of the Tony Robbins programs. I've done the Day of Destiny, the Business Mastery, Unleash the Power Within. Mm-hmm. What's interesting, I've also done the Joe Dispenza meditation stuff. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
And it's fascinating because both of them are focused on the mind, on controlling the mind, reprogramming the mind, and very different approaches. But at the end of the day, it's...
Yeah, dude. And listen, I say this all the time because this will set the foundation for everything, because there will be people that maybe will watch this and they're going to be like, dude, that guy's a fraud. No, watch it. I love it. Listen to me. Here's what's wrong with the world, okay? When someone decides to change their life, we should stand by them and help them change their life.
Yeah, we actually talked about this at my church on Sunday.
Yeah, because if you would have met me back then, I'm going to be honest with you, you wouldn't have liked me. I didn't like me.
Yeah.
I didn't like me. I didn't know I didn't like me. Lost people don't know they're lost.
Right.
So like, like people are like, dude, I learned that in 2015. I'm like, bro, I hated that guy in 2015. If you would have met him, I hated him too. But dude, come meet me now. Come shake my hand now. Come talk to me now. That's all that matters. And that's the problem is that like I tell women all the time because like I'm really big on the family values of marriage and I'm like hunting down these great leader men that don't know they're great leader men yet. Yep. And I'm telling the women, I'm like, listen to me. You're a man. You want him to change? Stop reminding him of who he used to be.
Right. Period.
Okay? Listen to me. If I tell my kid when he screws up, you're a bad kid. Well, but I want you to be a good kid. It's not going to work. You've owned him and labeled him as a bad kid. I tell my wife, you can't get historical with me. You can't. I'm a man. I screw up all the time. But you got to remind me. Someone has to be reminding me who I am, and I'm trying my hardest to do that for me. But when you see a man trying to change, or even a woman trying to change, when someone's trying to change, their partner needs to say, hey, look, that's not who you are. What you just did isn't you. Okay, let me tell you who you are. You're like this. You're like this. You're a leader. You make good decisions. You have to do that. And that's why everybody needs a coach. And anyway, so I just want to tell you that like anybody who's watching this, people are going to say, oh, well, I saw this thing. Yeah, it's all true. It's probably 10 times worse. Everything you found.
Yep.
But that's the power in like being a reborn again Christian or whatever faith anybody believes in, like changing.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like one thing in like theory and one thing in practice, right? Theoretically, everybody's like, oh, I forgive all people. I allow people to change, but actually allowing it to take place. It's one of the most powerful ways of forgiving, right? Like in the scripture, it talks about of you, it's required to forgive all men. That doesn't just mean like, hey, you wronged me, I forgive you. It's like, I'm not going to hold you to your previous standard, right? I'm actually allowing you to change. That is a true methodology of forgiveness. Yeah. Is just like looking past who they are and seeing who they could become. And I think it's extremely powerful. And the fact that you have that in your wife is fantastic.
Yeah, your wife sounds like the one we need to be talking to.
You guys do.
Incredible.
Yeah, she's a savage, bro.
To pull that out of you.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, so obviously you were motivated to change personally. Are you at a stage where like seeing other people like not being the person to impact others drives you more than change yourself? Like,
yeah,
where do you find the most motivation?
So you get these dopamine hits, right, when you do something, and then so making money was like a dopamine hit for a long time, but then the second you cash the check, it's gone. And then I hunt it for 30 more days, and then my pay cycle comes, and I get that dopamine hit, and then I'm back on the hunt again. I'm literally on the hunt now, 25/7, 365. Anybody that I run into, if you run into me, I'm going to make you strong. I'm going to make you feel powerful. I'm going to make you feel strong. I'm going to make you feel like you can take over the world and do anything. I'm going to make you want to be a leader. I don't care how you've been thinking. I am going to brainwash you to actually care about people. I'm going to brainwash you to think differently. I'm going to make you believe in a whole different way. And I do this at the grocery store. I always say this, leaders, it's not an on and off switch. It's in the community, it's at home, and it's in the business.
Amen.
It's everywhere. If people go, well, yeah, I'm so glad. Look, when you get off work, the leaders, you're a manager, you're a boss, you're not a leader. And no one wants a leader. Nobody wants a boss. Nobody wants a boss or a manager. Everybody wants a leader. Everybody wants a coach. Really, honestly, like a leader and a coach are the same thing, but I prefer a coach because a coach is someone that's just coaching somebody, is positively peer pressuring them to become better, to believe differently all the time. And I believe everyone needs a coach, dude. I mean, I literally just paid Gary Breckett $50,000 this morning to take over my fitness. Like I'm not even joking, dude. Like anybody that can do something better than me, I got one life. It's short. I'm not going to play around. People say, oh yeah, I can do it on my own. Okay, cool. Take 4 years. Take 4 years. I want it now, man.
Right.
I'm 45 years old, dude. I'm not playing around. And by the way, if you're 20 watching this, you take this advice now at 20.
Oh, yeah.
Now you don't wait till you're 45. Nobody was telling me this at 20. You know?
It's interesting because we went to this program at Harvard, OPM, but marketing has changed a lot. And we talked about this in a case study where in the past there was few channels for marketers. And a lot of stuff was driven by fear base.
Yeah.
And now that there's this opened up with all social media and all these different platforms, the people buy into hope.
The heart.
Yeah. And so now it's changed. You know, you can't do fear-based marketing like you used to.
Yeah.
It has to be based off of something that people want, people hope.
Well, even fear-based leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you guys are my age. So bottom line is, I mean, I'm just a couple years older than you guys, but listen, how did they motivate you in your age? You don't do this, you're fired.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Hey, you don't do this, you're out of here. You want to get back to where you were? You want to go somewhere else? You think someone else is going to pay you this kind of money? Dude, that was how it was. Dude, now?
Yeah, that was my first car sales boss.
No, but my point is, so you guys understand fear leadership, right? Now watch this. My wife reminds me every day, nobody works here because they're afraid of you. People work here because they know how much you love them. Dude, listen to me. It is a superpower to use your heart, to play with your heart. Your heart should always be right here. And we're in an era where people say, don't get close to your people. Don't get close to your employees.
Right.
Don't get close to your team. Don't let them know too much. Dude, I'm totally transparent with every single person in my company. I share everything with them. Dude, if somebody's suffering, I will pay for their house. I will buy their cars. I will do anything. I don't care. And by the way, yes, I get burned. People say, I don't do that. I got burned one time. Yeah, it's part of the deal. You know what? I've got 50 loyal people, and I've had 10 that burn me. And I wouldn't have the 50 loyal. I wouldn't have the army I had I not trusted that all 60 of them were going to be it, and 10 of them didn't work out, fine. And when someone betrays me, all it does is make me be more grateful for the ones who didn't betray me. Right. It's like, dude, you got to change your freaking lenses. And so a couple things. You said you got to change your mind. Your mind should ultimately change your perspective, which changes your lenses, which changes the way that you see everything. Because most people, they don't see anything good in people anymore. Dude, every time I see someone, I'm like, dude, this guy's capable of greatness. Everyone is. And that's not no bull crap. This is my ministry, dude. Listen, I should not be here. Number one, it's by God's decision. I should not be. I'm just obedient, man. I just listen. And I keep screwing up. But when I screw up, I say, hey, I own that. That's a mistake. My bad. I didn't intentionally try to hurt anybody. I wasn't wanting to hurt anybody. I was trying to try my best. You fell your way to winning. And dude, the more you talk about this, people are going to be like, dude, you know what? Okay, cool. I'm going to roll like that. And that's how we've been building our brand is by, and we've been pissing a lot of people who are lazy off, people that are haters. Dude, I used to be a hater. This is 10 seconds. I was in a car dealership, which you said you used to work in. And I'm just telling you, I want you to understand this. I'm a manager. I'm making good money. And I'm fat. I'm sitting at the desk. By the way, I'm not fat shaming people. I'm just telling you, when you get in shape, you're going to love yourself. Your life's going to go to another level, and you're going to have an edge, and you're going to be elite. Take care of yourself. It's your temple. It's your body. It's your life. You know, like, take care of yourself. But I saw this guy walk across the showroom floor, and I was a manager, and I was sitting in the tower, you know, where you work the deals, the sales tower. And I'm just humming. This guy walks by, shredded, bro. And I was like, F that guy. I think it in my head. I'm like, I bet that guy drives a Ford Taurus. I got a freaking Ferrari. Dude, bro, I bet that guy doesn't make very much money.
Right.
I bet that guy lives
in
a shitty ass small. Right. I bet he's in an apartment. You know what I realized? That guy, because of the standard he held on himself and the discipline he had, he made me question me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And instead of me like saying, hey, dude, thanks for like holding the standard, bro. You just made me question me. I'm going to change, which is what I do now.
Yeah.
I said, F that guy, because I was like, I didn't want to own my shit. And then so the night when my wife, crazy thing, when she triggered me and grabbed my love handle, that struck me immediately, that guy. And so crazy how like photographic times that like you stick with you. I was like, why am I not that guy?
Have you ever heard that like people are a reflection of your inside? So like the things that bug you about other people are really things that bug you about yourself.
Yeah, that was
and
it.
So you saying F that guy, you're saying it to yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, F it, I'm not going to be that guy.
Yeah, because he made me question myself.
Yeah.
Why not me? And that's the biggest deal, is that really I think every message you put out is like, why not you?
Yeah.
Right? And like, you know, traditional education is school, and this is like the greatest a podcast is the greatest education you can get.
Yeah. You know, you bring up an incredible point. So I have 39 strategies and theories of running a business, and one of them is focused around truth and transparency, right? Huge. And like truth and transparency is, as you shared, like where everything changes and where you get full buy-in. In fact, I think it's the greatest showing of love, right? Like when you are truth and transparent with people, when you can hit them straight, right? When you share with them, you know, why they're there. And it's interesting, you have two customers in a business, right? You have your employees as customer number one, and you have your end user as customer number two. When you are truthful across the board, you can charge more money, make bigger profits. Yeah. Like there's so much power in just being able to be completely owning the truth, which means comfortable that you're not perfect, right? Like not trying to justify where you sit, where you're at, right? Like understanding that, like, hey, I screwed up, I'm making changes, right? And I mean, obviously you've figured out a lot of the science behind building culture. It's the same. What you're talking about is the same stuff that we use to build a business out of my garage in 4.5 years to 1,100 employees, and just a rock star culture of like die hard people that were bought into the vision, the direction. And like this applies to any business. It can be in the solar business, it can be in sales training, it can be in anything. Right? Like you could literally be Coca-Cola, and it doesn't matter. If you apply these principles, you're going to be able to build something that's far exceeds what you're currently doing.
But the information you knew wasn't why people followed you. They followed you because you were their example. You were their leader. 100%. They believed in you.
Yep.
I tell people all the time, if people don't want to be you, they're not going to follow you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I heard people don't care what you believe.
Oh, yeah.
They care how much you believe in what you believe.
Yeah,
and that's huge. That's when people want to follow you.
That's called a pro. Mm-hmm. That's a professional right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can do that, which there's a slight difference.
Yeah.
You know, like two people say, well, I'm doing that. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's in selling, right?
Yeah.
Even if you go to sell solar, right? I'm just going to use an example. Yep. Any industry. But if you're going to sell something and you know the presentation, if you know the slide deck, if you know all this stuff, if you know everything, and you're trying to make someone believe this information, no, whoever believes the most that is the greatest, that person is the greatest salesman in the history of the world. Not the one that can do the best presentation. It's the one who believes the most. So a lot of people try to get people to believe in this. And I'm like, no, dude, I believe.
Right.
I believe. Yeah. I believe that that's the best. I don't even need to show you this. I know it's the best. And people will buy stuff they don't even need because the person believes so much. And there's just a slight difference. And only the pros know that the belief system in anything, and we call it sales, but the belief system is what? Selling a dream, getting a bank to do a loan they wouldn't have never done for anyone else, but they'll do it for you because they see something in you. Your eyes are just on fire. It's like magnetic.
I have to say, though, us walking in here, we saw your culture right off the bat.
Yep, feel it right away.
We even had to do an Armageddon workout.
Yeah.
Dude, 400 reps, my arms are like, what the freak?
Dude, they do it every day.
Oh, yeah, good for them. Good for
so
them.
We keep the gym in the company.
I love it.
So they can go down. You know how it is dialing or doing stuff? I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've had to completely like reset. So we sold our business to private equity, right? Got a big payday, all the things that every entrepreneur claims and dreams and, you know, whatever. But then like it's like, okay, what's next? Right. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, there's aspects of that momentum that we've missed, and we are now reestablishing and whatnot. But yeah, man, building a culture like that. I mean, props to you, man. You're doing it the right way, and it's fun to see, and you know, just see, you know, your own personal touch, but just like the mutual principles in which we were able to build our business off of, and like see that they work across industry. It's a lot of fun.
It's a hero making machine,
right?
Is what it is.
Right.
People say, well, how do I build a great team? Well, there has to be a leader to build the culture.
Yep.
The leader decides what the environment's going to look like, what's tolerated, what's not tolerated. You can't come in here and be negative.
So, but how did you learn that? Because we were part of good cultures, and we're like, dude, that's what we want, and we did it. Sounds like you weren't part of.
No, I was a part of the worst culture in the history of the world. I always tell people, you know what a winner is? Yeah. Okay, cool. You know what a loser is? Yeah. Well, if you don't want to be a loser, you do the opposite of what losers do,
right, and
then you become a winner. And then if you do the opposite of what the greatest in the world do, which are the winners, you become a loser. It's very simple. It's like black and white. And so I just want to tell you that I basically had poor leadership my whole life. Remember, November of 2019. Right now it's 2024. So you got to realize it's almost 2020 I started. Me and my wife, quickly, we sold our house, okay? We sold that house in Oklahoma. We sold our furniture. We sold our cars. We sold everything.
Change your identity.
Yeah, I got a $1,500 car. Jack, you got to, listen, I always say this, man. If you want to make more money, you got to devalue money. Stop chasing money.
Yep.
Stop chasing money.
Amen.
You want to attract it, okay? Become the greatest example on planet Earth. And what does great value mean? I always tell people, you want to make more money, you got to create more value. How to create more value? Become a leader. The greatest, scarcest resource in the planet of Earth right now, in the home, in the community, and in businesses, is leadership. Amen. And so if you want to get paid more than you ever imagined getting paid in your life, you got to become a leader. And then you make all the money. And by the way, everybody's looking for leaders because we're in a leadership nation. I mean, it's just crazy. So I never had a leader. And all of this language that I'm learning, that I'm even saying, I live this shit. It's one thing to learn it. It's another thing to live it. And then once you live it, now you loan it. You're like, okay, I'm going to give it to him. Now I'm going to give it to him. Now I'm going to give it to him. Now I'm going to give it to him. Because you're so afraid. Dude, honestly, I'm so afraid that if I don't get my hands on someone, that they're going to end up, if I wouldn't have watched that video and then decided to make a decision to buy that training course, which means prove that I was worth betting on, is basically what the decision was. Okay, because I almost didn't do it because I wanted to keep the money more than I wanted to go and sit and watch this training. But I was so sick of my own shit. I was so sick of it, dude. I was disgusted. And sometimes I would say this, you can only help people that are looking for answers. Yep. You help people on the bottom that are they're struggling. They're on bottom. They're sick of their crap. They're tired of being sick and tired. Those people are looking for answers. You can help them. If someone's talking to you and you want to change their life, if they're looking for answers, coach them. In the middle, if they can't be bothered and they're like, don't really care, you can't help those people. I don't want to talk to those people. Look, dude, if I say something to you and it could change your life and you don't care about it, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not being negative, but like, you're not looking for answers. I'm wasting my time. It's like trying to train a sales rep that doesn't want to go out and sell and doesn't want to do anything. But now people at the top, you're not always just training people at the bottom. I mean, dude, we train billionaires. These people, man, dude, being a billionaire, you create crazy ass problems in here. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, you've ruined your family in most cases. You've gotten really physically out of shape. I mean, I'm 45. I know a lot of guys that they're in their 40s. They're not in their most elite shape. Yep. And to have a lot of money and a bank full of cash and have everything you want, be able to buy whatever you want, but look in the mirror and not be on your 100% A game, which is your elite version, it's not okay. And so like everybody has these little pockets and holes. And then there's your next life, right? Which is what you're going to build now, which is like, your coaching game, whatever you do. I think ultimately right now, the people that have sold businesses like you, that have kicked ass, that, done everything that you guys have done, ultimately what you guys could do is become the greatest standard in the history of time, human excellence to the highest level, and go teach everything you've done to literally reclone yourself as many times as you can.
Yep. And that's exactly what we're working on. Everybody's failing in one aspect or another, but I agree.
Get it all.
I agree. So you're 45. This all took place when you were 41, right? Like so you picked up, you move over to Arizona.
Yeah, we went 1 year.
What were some of the initial changes you made besides relocating?
Well, we went to Oklahoma, number one. We were in Oklahoma my whole life. We worked by ourselves in that rent house. We literally went to Arizona. We started our team in 2022, 2021 roughly. I didn't have a team. It was just me and Jackie. And then in the last 2.5 years, it was 2021 we started building our team. So from 2019 in November to really 2021 of January, that was just me and her making sure that we were, we felt good. We didn't want to bring anyone on that we couldn't take care of. Yeah. And then boom. We were like, we're going to do this. And then we brought on one at a time. And then now we have, I think, like 86 people on our team.
It's incredible.
Payroll.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, you're right in the thick of the incredible stuff, right? You're attracting great talent just from the culture, from the leadership that you've created. And it's
cool, man. Life can be whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why you need to be around great people so that you can think bigger, so you can dream bigger. And sometimes God just puts you in front of somebody just to shake you up just a little bit.
So everybody has fears, and everybody has like weak points that they draw on to be able to like what I've seen in high level leadership, high level producers or whatever. Usually there's something, a chip on the shoulder, some past moment in their life that they constantly draw on to be able to get more energy. What are some of those things for you?
Today, I just don't want to die with regrets anymore. At 39, when I would have died, I would have hated me.
So is it you're consistently going back to 39, or are there other moments in your life that you're going back to and be like,
everything 39 and back, I hate.
Yeah.
dude, listen, I hate my old life. I'm very clear. I don't go to Oklahoma and people say, oh, this guy's got problems. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I do got problems. I've never met anybody that don't have problems. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And I don't want anything to do with that old dude that used to be alive. I hate that guy. And so now every decision I make is to make sure that that guy stays buried and that guy stays dead. I'm not letting him come out.
So do you believe that everybody has to go to those same extremes to be able to make those changes?
I believe greatness is found in the extremes. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't become obsessed, no one will ever know your name.
Amen.
You can't ever become great. Look, dude, I was watching this Andy Frisella reel, and he was saying, winners are exhausted. The founding fathers of our country, they built this country, they were exhausted. People that build big shit, they're exhausted. I love it. I was exhausted being a loser. Now I'm exhausted being a winner. I love my life. I love it.
So what's
Choose
next?
your hard.
Right? Like you built something pretty sweet in 3-4 year period of time.
Stay consistent. That's all I want to do. Just like you guys talked to Tommy, I just want to keep keeping my promise to my team, the people that have believed with me and been with me since day one. And then as big as God will let us get, we'll get. But there's not, everybody's like, you want to make $1 billion? I'm like, dude, honestly, we're so blessed. Like, we have everything we need. I just want to stay, I want to stay on the path. And every day, 1% better. I just want us all to, and I want us all to get better.
I love it.
And I want to impact more people. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that is literally the ground floor of what our message is. So we run a group called Next Level Pros. And essentially what it means is no matter where you're at, success isn't defined by a point, it's by a trajectory, right? And that there's always a next level to who you are, right? And because I've met, I'm friends with 50 billionaires, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of those guys that I would not define as successful, right? Yeah. Because their trajectory either is plateaued or it's down, right? And so it doesn't matter how much money in the bank account, how much you weigh, whatever else, if you're not on this path of taking it to the next level.
Recreating.
Recreating. And so I think, our messages are extremely aligned with what you're doing. And dude, appreciate you jumping on the show.
You guys, man, seriously.
And so what obviously official Andy Elliott on Instagram, what are the best spots to get a hold of you or to be a part of? You got these different coaching programs, whatnot. How do people get access to you?
Yeah, so you go to Instagram, official Andy Elliott. It's pretty simple. YouTube, we have thousands of videos on YouTube. But if there was a direct message, like somebody wanted to message us, I use a text line number. I've used it forever because it's the easiest way to communicate directly with somebody because there's so many different social media platforms. Yep. And everybody's got a phone. So it's 918-210-0254. So if you text 918-210-0254, you just ask me any question, whatever it is, whatever you need help with, and we'll reach out to you.
Awesome.
Absolutely love it. Appreciate you being on. And as always, for those that are on the Next Level Pro podcast, to be able to get access to our coaching community, go to gonextlevelpros.com. We'll be able to take care of you. You'll be able to get access to being a part of those weekly coaching calls and get great people like Andy involved in your life. Appreciate you. Until next time.